So thanks for joining me today. How are you doing?
I am awesome. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I totally appreciate you having me on your show.
Oh yeah, no, it's fun. Take us back to the beginning. When you auditioned for Wicked City, how did this part come about for you?
Well, fortunately for me, I didn't have to. Okay, I guess there is a backstory. The backstory is Tressa Small. I want to say Smallwood. She had her company Megamind Media had a show a couple of years back when COVID first came out as a thing. I got hired to do that in Miami. I caught COVID and I wasn't able to do the show. So fast forward 2 years later, this opportunity for Wicked City comes up. They see the role sort of fits my acting style. So they contacted me, and said, "Hey, we have another opportunity for you. It's a TV show called Wicked City." I was familiar with the show because a friend of mine, Rhonda Mormon, is on the show. So I was familiar with it. I said, "Okay, witchcraft, that should be interesting." Never done that like that before. So it was more of a issue of me saying I was interested in doing it, and all black executives deciding, if they would approve me to be able to do it. So that's pretty much how the audition process went for me. I had a relationship with Brett over at All Black from doing another show called Fifth Ward. So it was a sort of a shoe in. They gave me the opportunity. I showed up in Atlanta. I prayed a lot, and there was Wicked City.
Great, great. For those who haven't seen the show yet, what is your character like?
My character's name is Julius Toussaint. He's a 300-year-old warlock who sort of comes to their town, and he seems to be on a mission from the council to punish them for something that they did in episode 1. If you guys haven't seen it, to not give too much away, but he has his own personal mission, which we're episode 5 in now, has not quite totally been revealed. But for those who have seen this show up until episode 5, at this point, uh everybody who sees why he's there knows he's there to perform some crazy resurrection to raise a goddess that will sort of take the mundanes, who are us human beings, and make them second class citizens after witches. So that's his overall mission. How he accomplishes it is pretty crazy. So yeah, you guys got to see it.
Yeah,
it was an interesting piece of work, I can honestly say that.
yeah. I started watching it. I need to watch more. I watched the first few episodes, so I need to watch it. I liked it so far.
Yeah, it gets the second season is because my character comes in the second season.
Oh, okay.
And the second, everything that happens in the first season sort of sets up what happens in the second season. There's a lot of things that when you watch the second season, you're like, oh, that's what that was about. It'll make a whole bunch more sense. But it gets really, really insane season 2, because now you have if you saw season 1, there was a lot of female witches in the show. But in season 2, a couple of male witches joined the cast. Me and a guy, Karan, he plays the handler, and we come wreak havoc on the female witches in the show. So yeah, it was a pretty interesting ride.
Great. And you played a vampire in Port Charles years ago, which is how I
Yes.
saw you.
Yeah, that's it. We've been friends since way back then,
Yeah,
and that was
yeah.
many, many years ago. So yeah. And that
And
was another interesting job, because I had never done a soap opera before. And it was always like, when you're an actor, there's certain things that you say, hey, I'm gonna put this on my list of things to do if I could ever get on a soap, as a young actor. And the opportunity came. I'd never seen Port Charles. I'd heard about it. I'd never seen it. And the thing about the soaps, for those out there who are soap fans, from an actor standpoint, we work every day. We get up like a job. We go there 5 days a week to do these, because they shoot them literally every day. We don't know what's going to happen until we get there.
ah,
So it's not a job where, like, I got a script like Wicked City and I got a week to look at it and figure out what I'm going to do. You already know your character, but you don't know what he's going to do or what he's going to say until you get there. And the reason for that is because, since soaps are done every day, they don't want the information to leak out to the public, what the stories are and stuff, because people are so involved in the story. So we don't even know. So there was times when we did Port Charles, they did not tell me that we were a band of vampires. I did not know that. We actually just were a rock band. That's, every time I went to work, I was just the black bassist of a rock band. But then one day, the production tells me, go to this address. I go to the address, it's an optometrist. Then they tell me to go to this other address. I go to the address, it's a dentist. And I'm thinking, what? They're not telling me why. There's no, you just go and do what the contract says. So, but the people who service you they think it's amusing. So they tell you what you're there for. Oh yeah, we fit you for vampire teeth. What? You know, oh yeah, we work in contacts so you could have red eyes for your vampire train. I'm like, what are you talking about? So then later on, as the script goes on, you show up, you're like, oh, we're vampires. I swear one day, the day we did the cleansing, when we turned back into human beings, I can't swim. Okay, I can't swim. I don't know that a water trick is coming up. I don't know that. I show up to work, I see the script, and this time they let us know a day in advance. So on this particular day, we knew a day in advance that tomorrow there's going to be stunts and, you know, special effects and all that. And I'm reading the paper and it says we're going to have a pool, you know, for the cleansing. I'm looking, we're on a sound stage. They're not going to have a pool in here, right? I show up the next morning. There's a whole pool with rocks around it, looking like it's like mountain area and stuff. And they got smoke and stuff. And I'm like, I got to go in that? And they say, yeah, we have to wait till we start to smoke and stuff like that. Then you go in. I'm like, I can't even see the water. I mean, I already can't swim, so now I can't see. Then they start telling you stuff like seconds before you shoot. They'll say, oh, and by the way, when you come out the water, make sure you don't inhale because, you know, there's no H2O with all this smoke right here. That's all carbon. So you got to come above that. I'm like, it's just too much to think about. There's flashing lights in the water. I'm worried about getting electrocuted. There was too many things processing in my head. People don't know. They see the stuff. They see the work. Right. And they think, oh, that was so smooth. They have no idea. Then people clap for me after I did it the first time. And I was like, oh, I did. I got through it. It's like, so you saw them all huddling in the corner. I'm like, what are they whispering about? And they say, hey, we had a little glitch in the camera. Can we do it again?
Well, at least you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, I didn't know if the water was cold, warm, anything until I got in it. And I'm fully clothed when I went in with army boots on. I'm like, oh my God, I can't swim and I'm wearing army boots. So yeah, Port Charles was amazing. But you know, these were all part of my experiences and getting to where I'm at now. And I wouldn't trade any of it for the world.
And the water wasn't very deep, I hope.
No, it was about 10 feet. But my thing is, you have to understand, because I did Pride too, which had, you know, a big pool, and you know, I almost drowned in that one. And it was the first day of work too. So it's like, you don't want to drown your first day of work. You can easily replace you. I have no tape, you know. So I'm like, why y'all want to start with this? You know, y'all just trying to run me up out of here. So it was, but it was, you know, there was so many situations where I've been in as an actor that, when you see it on film, it's like, oh, that was amazing. But when I'm living it, oh my God, some of these, you know, I'm like, where's the stunt double for this scene? Why don't I really? So yeah, because they don't, you know, a lot of times, even when I did Pride, they didn't say to me when it was a similar situation where the network called me at my house and said, hey, we got this movie. Terrence Howard, Bernie Mac is shooting in New Orleans. All things I love to hear. I'm like, I love Terrence Howard, love Bernie Mac, but New Orleans is my hometown. So that was exciting for me. And I don't know anything but, Gary, go to LA, take a physical, and we need you to get on this flight tonight. I'm like, okay, what an exciting life. I was just laying in my bed doing nothing, right? So I'm on the plane and I don't get the script till I'm on the plane. So I'm on the plane and I'm flying 4 hours, I'm reading the script, and I'm flipping pages and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be dope. Oh, I'm gonna kill this. Oh, and it's a period piece too. I'm just having, I'm gonna it's gonna remind me of my dad. I'm gonna be in the 70s in New Orleans. I'm gonna make this look like my dad. As I get to the end of it and I see the part where he has to go in the water. And Terrence Howard is trying to drown the character, right? I'm like, now he ain't asked me about swimming. Now we got a problem. You know what I'm saying? So the whole flight, now my nerves are bad. The whole flight, I was excited when I first saw the role, but I was like, is that how it is? So I'm in the pool and the guy pushes me in it. We got to talk about it. So yeah, it took hours to get that scene, by the way. There was scuba divers involved, ladders involved. Wow. There was a lot of things involved to get me to give y'all those 3 underwater shots with me screaming underwater. That was a lot of preparation and production leaving, and it's just me and the stuntman and the cameraman.
Wow. Yeah, no, I understand. I can't swim very well myself, but
yeah, and you put in these situations in front of like 50, 60 of your peers and crew, and they tell you, hey, if you feel, you know, if you feel like you're in danger, just pat the top of your head. Okay, well, at least I got a safety valve, right? What they don't tell you is, oh, by the way, we're all watching the monitors and the camera's underwater. So we're only going to see you pat your head at the point where you're drowning. I'm thinking pat it when I come out because I'm looking at everybody across the pool. Imagine coming out of water and you've already swallowed chlorine. You can't breathe. The scene hasn't even started yet. I'm already patting my head and Terrence hasn't even jumped in the water yet. So this is the duration of time that I'm struggling. I'm looking at these people. across the pool, dead in their faces, but they're all focused on the monitor, which is looking at my feet. So it was an ugly situation. But one of the best, but honestly, one of the best roles I ever played, because once I got on dry land, I felt like as an actor, like I owed him something.
Yeah,
So
sure.
when I got on dry land, I just let him have it. And the director, Sunu Ganera, he was a Nigerian guy, African guy. He wasn't familiar with a lot of American slang. And I had to do slang from the 70s because that's what the piece was. And the things that was coming out my mouth, he never said cut. So I just kept going and going and going. So everything you see in Pride, maybe 40% of that was actually scripted. The director just loved watching actors perform. So he would let me, Terrence, and everybody else just play. So a lot of the stuff that you saw in that movie was just organic actor stuff. So
Oh, cool.
that's what happens when you allow a professional to do what they do.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. That sounds fun.
Yeah, Pride is interesting. Every time I watch it, I smell chlorine.
Do you ever think maybe I should take swimming lessons?
You know, I swear to you, I think it all the time. My mom used to have a swimming pool when she moved out here. She had a swimming pool, and she would always say, we got a pool, you know, just get out there. So I would go out there, but I would do the same thing. I just have my feet in the water. You know, when I look at the deep end, anything that I could stand up in, I'm totally cool with. I'm 6'1".
Yeah.
If it's 5 feet of water, I'm up in there. I could swim at 5 feet. Long as at the point of fear, I can stand up, I'm good.
I'm not
It's when I get to here, you know, and I start feeling that pressure of I can't get air. And I'm one of those kind of people, I start thinking too hard. And I start saying, what if you just took a quick look, you know? How much water would you take in with a quick little inhale? It's like, I don't, you know, I'm not a fish, man. I know my limits, you know. I'm a land dweller, and I'm cool with that.
So would you say that your character, the warlock character, is a bad guy, villain?
You know, that was something we explored, me and the director, when we talked about the character. I told him from my point of view as Julius, from standing inside of his skin, no, I think to himself he's a hero. Right. Because if you're looking at, if you look past the fact that these are some of your fan favorite actresses and witches, and you look at what he's trying to do for his race of people being witches, he's trying to basically put them in the first position of power. You know, he's basically saying, hey, why are we hiding when we have more power than human beings? Why are we hiding in the shadows? We need to be running stuff. Why can't we run things? So in essence, I don't think he's the villain from his own standpoint. Right. Now, of course, from a viewer standpoint, you know, he's messing with the girl. So of course he's going to be played as the villain. But from a witch's standpoint, everything that he's doing is for the benefit of the rest of the witches. They're just under the understanding that to accomplish it, what he has to do to accomplish it might be more detrimental than helpful. So that's the fear factor on their end. But from where he stands, he thinks he's a hero. Okay.
And for fans who saw season 1 but not season 2 yet, what else do they have to look forward to?
Oh, the handler. Now the handler is an interesting character because in season 1, you sort of were introduced to the handler at sort of the end of season 1. Columbus Short played the handler. But in season 2, several people play the handler because the handler is now identified as a shapeshifter. So you'll notice a different set of actors, you know, playing the character. Even Yandy Smith, you know, from one of the reality shows, there's a lot of actors that play the character, but Karan is now the main character, the main actor that plays the handler to replace Columbus Short. But they sort of, I love how they weaved it in and made him a shapeshifter. That way, you know, they could justify why a different actor was playing the role.
Right. And now you've been acting for quite a while, if you get recognized by fans, which part do they most know you from?
Most people tend to know me from Tyler Perry stuff, you know, Daddy's Little Girls, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. That's normally the first things people will say to me. Some people go a little bit deeper. I think the ones that impress me the most is if I'm like at a store or a gas station and I'm ordering, say, a lottery ticket. So I have to talk. As long as I don't talk, nobody says anything. I think it's my voice. Yeah. So the minute I say something, somebody will say something to blow me away. Like, hey, did you play Ebon on Static Shock? I'm like, wow, they know my voiceover work. Now, those are the fans. I'm going to be honest with y'all. The ones that know my voice work are the ones that impress me the most because they always catch me off guard. And there's always somebody I don't think would look at a cartoon or play a video game that my voice was on and stuff like that. So those are the ones that that shocked me the most.
You do have a very distinctive voice. I know.
Thank you. Here's a quick story about that. When I was in high school, me and my brother, we used to have a singing group called First Impression, and we used to sing a lot of old 60s songs and stuff. And I used to sing like the falsetto parts in these songs. And in my high school year, while we were on stage singing in a talent show at my high school, my voice did this. It in the middle of singing. I mean, it's like we were singing, and I went, man, it is. And it was like on stage. So my brother had to step in and take that part. We had to switch parts. You know, we all professional what we do, but it from that moment on, it never changed. So back then, I mean, if I finally caught up with my look at my age at 57, but you know, at 17 years old, to have this voice, it was troubling. It was hard because when I would audition for stuff, I had a baby face and a bunch of curly hair. So I'd audition for stuff, and people they'd be like, "Okay, you got the look we want." I'm like, "You old as hell," you know. So people, I literally would go up in my 20s. I would go for like voiceover commercials against James Earl Jones and a lot of the older actors when they wanted we want a jazz musician, you know, from Louisiana. And they see me walking in like, "Oh, you should be in a double mint, you know, line over there." I'm like, "No, this is the audition I'm supposed to come to." They looking at me like, "Kid, what are you doing here?" But then I start talking that, you know, I start putting that jazzy voice on them. And they all of a sudden, next thing you know, I got the job. You know, and they're looking at me like, "How is this kid doing this?" So my voice took a while to catch up with my look. And I thank God for the opportunity to work so much in voiceover. It's something that sort of fell in my lap. And because of it, these promos and cartoons and all of these things that I was blessed to be able to do, they taught me how to use my voice, which to me made me a better actor on screen. Because now if you watch my performances now versus my performances when I was younger, there's so many things that I do vocally that make my character so much more menacing now than I did when I was back younger, when I did a lot more with my face and being mad. And, you know, now I can control my voice a lot. And there's so many things I can do with it from animation. So I bring that to my acting now, and I think it's working for me. I think that's what made Julius pop, you know, because I decided to play him when I got the script, looking at the language of the script and knowing that he was 300 years old. I had to think of how I wanted to speak. You know, it was as actors, we have to make a lot of conscious choices when we want to play a character, especially a character that's in the story as much as this character is. And I was very conscious of how I wanted him to carry himself. Because I figured if he's 300 years old, he's lived a little bit. He has seen some stuff, you know. Yeah. And if you guys see the show, you'll know there's one episode where I think it's episode 5 where they go back to the 1800s. So you actually get to see Julius 200 years ago. You know, so you sort of have a span of his life and what it is that he's about and what he's trying to do. And for me, I wanted to carry him with a little bit of eloquence and cockiness. And I think it came off the way I wanted to on screen. You know, it's funny when you do stuff, you don't know what it's going to look like. You don't know what the special effects are going to look like. We don't see any of that. You know, if I actually posted something on my page just the other day for those who are on my page, it was a shot of what the actual scene you see in the show looked like and what we saw when we were shooting it with the whole green screen and the guys holding the girl up to make it look like she was suspended. So people can understand the magic of movie making is amazing, because as actors, we have to see things that's not there. So that when they put them there, it looks like we saw them there.
Right.
So
you use your imagination.
Imagine. And so, you know, when you're doing like a lot of the stuff that I've done prior, it didn't require that because it was all real life in the moment stuff. But when you're talking about fantasy stuff, when you're talking about sci-fi and witches and warlocks and stuff like that, it's a different world. And in that world, you can play with a lot more space. And I gotta be honest with you, it was an honor. I mean, I don't know if you heard, but they put about 4 or 5 of us up for potential nominations for NAACP Image Awards, which was also a surprise and a shock, an honor. You know what I'm saying, that they would even consider my work to be good enough, you know, to put up for something like that. As an actor that's done this for 40 years, it's always nice when people appreciate the work. Because honestly, I do it all for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I entertain for people. So for me, it's important that people appreciate the work, and it's even more important when your peers do. Yeah. So with all due respect to everybody on Wicked City that was nominated, you know, congratulations to y'all. Hope everybody nomination go through, and I hope we all win.
That's great. You know, the story you told about your voice changing, that was an episode of the Brady Bunch that happened to Peter on the Brady Bunch.
Yes.
He was singing and his voice changed.
And that was truly my story. So when it's funny when you look back at stuff and you could identify with these things because some of these things really happen to people. It happened to me, and it never came back. You know, so and I told my mom. I said, Mom, I hate my voice. And she said to me, she said, baby, you have a strong voice. You have a beautiful voice. That voice is going to take you very far. And lo and behold, I started doing voiceovers and promos for UPN and, a lot of, movie trailers and stuff. And my voice paid me more than my looks, my talents and everything. I'm like, boy, the thing I thought was my biggest shortcoming actually became my greatest asset. So a lot of people out there, when you say, hey, this is my flaw, this is my weakness, this is my thing, that thing might just be the thing that's your payday. Because the thing that I felt most uncomfortable about is the thing that pays me the most.
Wow. And so which do you prefer doing, animated or live action?
Oh, live action all the time. I mean, because I love animation. It's fun, but you tend to just sit there. You know what I'm saying? You're just sitting at a mic, playing with a bunch of people, which is totally cool because some of the people be in the room be phenomenal people. I've worked with some great people. Some people that you never think you'd sit in a room with, like Shaquille O'Neal, doing Alfred Woodard. People you never think you'll sit in a room with to do a voiceover. But I would prefer live action because, I'm an actor first. That's always been my thing and my passion.
Yeah. Some actors say they prefer the voiceover because they don't have to get all dressed up and stuff.
But see that now I ain't gonna lie. Now you see, as a writer, because I'm a writer too. So as a writer and a voice artist, the beautiful thing about both careers is you can be a total bum. When I used to be a staff writer for Tyler Perry Studios, we used to, me, Steve, the head writer, everybody was growing beards and just unkempt looking because we sat in a room with no windows for 8, 9, 10 hours a day coming up with ideas, 7 people, But then one day I'm in there, I didn't sleep the night before because I'm figuring I'm living the writer's life. You know what I'm saying? I'm just in a boring room with a bunch of people kicking jokes. I'll stay up all night. I'm in Atlanta. I go to work that day. Somebody comes to the room and they say, hey, Tyler wants you. I say, what does he want? They say, want you in hair and makeup. I said, for what? He said, he wants you to be on the show. So the particular episode of Meet the Browns that he wanted me on, we had shot that 2 years ago before he had a deal on it. But he was now redoing everything. He had recast the show with some other actor. And when the actor opened the door at the rehearsal, he said, get me Gary, and fired the guy. So of course I'm walking in like, hey, wasn't y'all already shooting this? Because we writing the next episode. I said, well, y'all already shooting this? He said, yeah, but I remember you did it before and I like how you did the role. I said, but didn't you have a guy that was just doing it? He said, yeah. He said, but I'm still paying him. I said, Tyler, it's not about paying him. That boy done told his mama and grandmama and everybody you about to work for Tyler Perry. Oh man, what? I feel bad. You know what I'm saying? I was cool being unkempt in the writer's room. I've had phases in my career where, I've been a writer or I've been an actor or I've been a voiceover artist. And for some reason, they don't all seem to happen at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I'm good at adjusting to what it is that I have to do. Like as an actor, I used to always get asked, well, you're writing now for Tyler and you come to set and watch other people act. Does that bother you? No, I'm a writer too. You know what I'm saying? It's like, just like he called me up for House of Pain, Meet the Browns, I was in the writer's room when he called me. So when he feels, there's a part for me, he'll call me out the writer's room. In the meantime, I'm going to take this writer's check. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to complain. Okay. So I do all that. So I don't, I feel blessed that God put me in a position that I have that many talents that I can use them to monetize. So when one's not working for me, I just flip to the next.
That's great. That's very useful.
Yeah, I mean, and it's all, another thing I like to tell people is, everybody has something. You know what I'm saying? And you can't look at what somebody else has like, okay, well, he has talent. I want talent. Talent might not be your thing. But whatever that thing is, that's your thing that God gave you, then you just have to use that to the best of your ability because everybody got something. There's something that you're passionate about, that you're good at, or something that's in the back of your mind that you want to do that you're afraid of. Mm-hmm. That might be your thing. The thing that you're most afraid of is the thing that you should approach the fastest because that might be your thing. I mean,
so many people are afraid to try things, even if it's something that they might enjoy. And as they get older, I think a lot of people get more afraid and they're like, oh, I'm too old to, play the guitar or whatever. And
right. And you have to live some. I mean, we have to remember this above all things. this thing that we have called life is it's on limited order. You know what I'm saying? That the one thing we're all guaranteed, rich, poor, black, white, gray, don't matter, we're all going to die. So with that being the only thing we know for sure, because we don't know if we're going to get paid Friday, you know, we don't know if we're going to fall in love Monday. We don't know that, but we know we all going to die. So knowing that, to me, we should take every moment of the life that we have and just pursue the things that you want to see and go to places you want to go and do the things that you want to do, because this is your chance.
Yeah.
I've the reason why I chose the career that I chose is because I was around a lot of people growing up in the 70s in Louisiana that were forced to do things that they didn't want to do because they had to do them.
Mm-hmm.
And I always said to myself, I don't want to be the guy that goes to work every day unhappy about what it is that I'm getting up to do just because I have to feed a family or just because I have to pay a bill. It's important to me, and I think people need to understand it's important to your own mental health that you do things that make you happy.
So true.
You know what I'm saying? Do things that bring you joy. And especially when it comes to work, because work is somewhere you spend 40 to 60 hours a week. That's somewhere you spend a nice deal of your life. So you have to choose things that give you joy. If you're a carpenter, go out there and put some carpet. If that brings you joy, then you go be the best at whatever that is. And I think a lot of times people say, oh, well, you know, I should have done this and I should have done that. And that's what I woke up every day hearing people saying that kind of stuff as a child. You know, as older people always saying, well, I wish I would have. I should have done that. And I don't ever want my life to be that way. I want to look back at life and say I did everything I wanted to do. And even if I didn't accomplish the goals to the heights that I wanted to accomplish them, I still took my best shot. I put my best foot forward and I dedicated my life to doing whatever that was. I've been acting for 40 years. You know, I tell people all the time, I've been doing this since I was 17 and 57. I've been doing this for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so it's like, I don't know nothing else. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I tell people it was always acting the bus for me. If I was going to starve, it was going to be feast or famine. That's just the way it is for me. Right. Because people would say, well, you got to have a plan B, Gary. You got to have a plan B. Hey, man, that's not smart. Acting's risky. Acting's risky. Acting's risky. You got to have a plan B. I say acting's risky for you. See, what people don't understand is when God puts something on your heart, that's for you. That message was for you. That wasn't for everybody else. So because they couldn't accept that, a lot of people tell me, man, you ain't never going to make it at that. Man, you ain't never going to make it at that. Those same people have watched some of these movies I've done 4, 5, 6 times with their girlfriends or wives, never once realizing that was me until the 5th time. They'll be like, wait a minute, that guy looked for me. I'm going to stay and wait and look at the credits. Because I'm going to say this, you know, to the audience. Black people don't look at credits. I don't know why that is.
Really?
My white friends, y'all all look at credits. I love y'all for sitting for the last 5 minutes of the movie. We tend to get up and head to the parking lot. And here's why I say that. I could go places. Black people do not know my name. Okay, my name is Gary Anthony Sturgis. Black people do not know that. Black people call me the guy who threw the money on the ground in the Tyler Perry movie, the guy who yelled at such and such in this movie, the guy who beat on them kids in that movie. I'm like, you know, the man formerly known as Prince. You know, I just want to be Gary Anthony Sturgis. I was in Vegas. Whole bunch of people was just taking pictures. All these black people just come in, we take a picture. Oh, I know who you are. You be in the Tyler Perry movie. Oh yeah, I know who you are. I know who you are. Nobody knew who the hell I was. I'm standing next to a bunch of people more famous than me, right? But then these white people walked up, right? And they like, so I'm thinking they just saw me with a crowd of famous folk, you know. They don't know who the hell I am. They walk up and, hey, can we get a picture with you? I'm like, y'all don't even know who I am. They say, yes, we do. You're Gary Sturgis. Girl, come on, let's take this damn picture, you know? So for black folk, you know, out of respect for the actors that's entertaining you, stay and watch the credits so you can learn our names. You know, I want people to call me by my name. You know what I'm saying? It's Gary. It's a simple name. It's just 4 letters. You know,
well, I don't watch the credits, but I do go on IMDb and look them up. So
see, you do your. What's my point? You do your research. You do your research. Oh, I mean, it'd be nice
how people
sometimes say, "Hey, Gary," instead of "Hey, you the dude that threw the bag of money on the ground in the Tyler Perry movie." You know, like,
I don't know how people don't do that because I'll be watching whatever it is, right? And I'll be like, that guy looks familiar. Or who is that person? I know this person's familiar.
See, but I'm like that because I'm looking for talent. Right? I'm always looking for talent. So it's like if I see somebody on something and I like them, I'm gonna look them up and see what else they've done. And because now I want to see your body of work, because I mean I'm all about talent. And sometimes you see people, there's a lot of new actors out here that I'm seeing popping up on screen. I'm like, wow, I love to work with them. You know, it's people that I've never seen before. And I think that's another thing we need more opportunities, because you know, the whole while I've been in the game, you got the same 10, 12 guys that's always in everything.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to see other people work. So, open some doors, Hollywood.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you talking to me. I think we could probably talk for another hour, but that's.
Oh, for sure. I'm good at this.
Well,
I appreciate you so much. I really do. I mean,
yeah, no.
we've been friends for so long. It's great to have an opportunity. It's funny. This is the first time we ever talking. And I'm on your show.
I
But we've
know.
been friends since Port Charles, so I appreciate the support.
Yeah, no problem. And I need to watch the rest of Wicked City, and
Holler at me on social media. Tell me what you think.
I will. I enjoyed it. I love all the supernatural stuff. Anyway, I watch.
Cool deal. Everybody, Wicked City, all black. Check us out, man.
All right. Well, thanks so much, and I'll let you know
me.
when it goes up. Probably
For sure. All right.
Bye bye.